Hello everybody, welcome back to the footy recap. Liverpool have signed Ronald Araujo on loan from Barcelona. The big here you go from yesterday, as you can see. Verbal agreement agreed. New centre-back option for Liverpool. A surprise bomber that nobody saw coming. Nobody was linked with this at all. I don't think I saw a single journalist saying that this one would happen. An interesting one for Liverpool because ultimately it means that they're working on signings that nobody has any knowledge of at all. As you can see, Fabrizio Romano dropping the surprise bomber out of nowhere, and I saw absolutely no reports of this at all. Interestingly enough for Liverpool, as we can see, Andoni Iraola sees Araujo as an opportunity, getting a top defender who can cover centre-back and eventually cover the right-back area as well for them. So Liverpool getting a top centre-back from Barcelona on loan, 27, obviously made a few mistakes last season. A few fans in the Liverpool fan base divided on whether or not Araujo is a good signing, but ultimately I do really feel like he's probably going to have a pretty good season for Liverpool, and the option to buy is there. If he has a good season, Liverpool can buy him and have a new centre-back that will fulfil that fifth role in their team that they've needed to cover for years, really. Let's face it, Joe Gomez is always injured, so he's never been able to be relied upon for Liverpool, and all their centre-backs, apart from Van Dijk, right now injured. So really, in a situation where Liverpool did need to make a move for a centre-back, Fabrizio Romano teasing yesterday that Liverpool were going to make a move for one. And as we can see, they have gone and done it. Got the centre-back in. All of a sudden, their team looking quite stacked at the back. Araujo can play right-back and centre-back. Looks like he's going to play next to Van Dijk, which means they don't have to rush Xhaka and Leone back from long-term injuries. And Gomez also is injured still. They needed an extra centre-back back there. They've got 5 now. 5 good centre-backs to rotate, which is an excellent place to be in. Because Liverpool have had a rotating issue with centre-backs being injured for the past 5 years and never got the extra one that they really needed to make sure that they were shored up in that position. So, also, you have to look at the implications. Getting him on loan, you're probably only paying 10 or 15 million in a year for his wages, which are 250 grand a week, I believe. So the reality is that Liverpool are getting a top centre-back for 10, 12 million pounds. And the situation as it stands is that they haven't spent any money on him, which means the Barcola situation looks like it's going to take up all of Liverpool's funds. We haven't really got many updates on the Barcola situation for Liverpool as it stands here. But I do really feel like the implications here for Liverpool are that clearly not spending any money on a centre-back means that potentially all the money's going on Barcola. We're seeing here from people this morning, as you can see, that there's some people saying that the Barcola deal is done. The deal around 130 million euros from transfer news here, as you can see. But then other people saying that Barcola is Liverpool's main target and offering 115 million euros as it stands. Paris want more. They want around 150 million euros to sell him, which is about 125 million pounds, I believe. Honestly, I think Liverpool, if I was Liverpool, I would just buy him, get the job done, and get him over the line, because the reality is the difference between paying 100 million and 120 million, if he has 5 amazing seasons for Liverpool, which is highly likely, or more, the situation really is that he'll be worth it. And if Liverpool go and win a few trophies because of his influence, I think it makes a lot of sense. Barcola is a top player, and ultimately, I think this Araujo deal is very telling that they've not gone and spent loads of money on a centre-back. The reality is right now that it seems like Barcola is the main priority for Liverpool, and as you can see, not spending any money on Araujo, rather than spending 50 million on Konza, who would have been a similar option, says a lot really, in my opinion, about the kinds of things that are going on in the background for Liverpool. Clearly, we are looking to spend the majority of our transfer budget for this window on Barcola, and if PSG don't come down on their price anymore, it could be the case that basically Liverpool just do go and pay the money for him. As you can see, still a difference in price. Liverpool offering 120 million euros as it stands, which is just under 100 million pounds, but I think PSG looking like they are basically looking for around 120 million plus, using Morgan Rogers, Elliot Anderson as a benchmark for the kinds of price that they want. The reality is Liverpool are after Barcola, and I think we do get him, but it is going to be pretty dicey in terms of the fee. Obviously, time is running out as well. As it stands, we are currently on the 8th of August, which means we've got around 3 weeks left of the window. And I think in reality, Liverpool do need to get their skates on in terms of getting this signing done if they do want to get Barcola. But the reality is, I think Araujo was a shrewd signing for them, and as it stands right now, it does seem as though for me that Liverpool are saving their money for Barcola, who is probably going to be the marquee signing of the summer for the Premier League, to be honest. If Liverpool do sign him for £120 million and go up on their valuation and PSG come down a little bit, I think it will be a good deal for Liverpool. And I think it will be a good deal for PSG and for Barcola. It makes sense for everyone, really. We know that Barcola wants to leave because he wants to play more. We know PSG have got to sell him. Otherwise, they're going to take a cut fee for him next season because he's going to be on the last year of his deal. And Liverpool need the marquee signing. They need bodies for the Champions League, and they also need quality wingers who can play both sides. We know Iraola has been linked with these kinds of profiles of players non-stop in this transfer window. Plenty of players, pretty much all the players Liverpool have been linked with and the players that they've been buying can play both sides. They can play left wing and right wing and swap mid-game as well. And Barcola joining the roster there can only be a good thing for Liverpool, in my opinion. And from what many people have said, you know, there's a lot of people out there being accountants and saying Liverpool shouldn't spend more than 100 million euros on Barcola, who's overpriced. But the reality is, when you look at title-winning teams that have dominated the Premier League, the Champions League over the past 20, 30 years, they've gone and they've just bought the players that they've wanted, and sometimes they've overpaid, but they have got the job done on most of them. You can see we have got lots of people coming out yesterday and saying that the principal agreement between Liverpool and Barcola is basically there. And it's going to be around 128 million euros, around 110 million pounds, which is what I've been thinking about the price would be. And like I said, maybe this is overpriced. Maybe it's the right price in this seller's market. But ultimately, like I was saying, when you look at the top teams that win things over and over again, they go out and they buy the players that they want to get the job done and become a top team and, you know, be competitive and be one of those teams that can be involved in winning the Premier League over and over again, the Champions League. You look at Man United from 30 years ago, you look at Man City over the last 15 years, 20 years now. They've gone and just bought players and been competitive and stayed competitive because they went and potentially overbought. They potentially bought too many players. They potentially bought players that were a bit too expensive, but they got the players they wanted for the system that they needed, and then they won things because of it. And ultimately, Liverpool are in a position to pay for him in that region of money. Then why shouldn't they go and buy him? Because ultimately, if they go buy Barcola, they sell Gakpo, they buy another winger. They've got Araujo at centre-back as cover. Maybe they buy another midfielder if McAllister or Curtis Jones leaves. But they're looking stacked going into the next season with a new manager, a new style of football. You have to imagine that if you bring in a few good players, maybe you pay, you know, an extra 20 million for Barcola you didn't need. But if he gets 30 goals and assists next season and Liverpool win the title or the Champions League because of him, then it was worth it. And you have to think about things in these regards. There is lots of people that go 100 million euros maximum, otherwise it's a bad deal for Liverpool. But in reality, Liverpool will pay whatever they want for Barcola, and if they want to buy him and they want to overpay for him but he does the job, then that's up to Liverpool. And ultimately, this is how trophies are won, and we've seen it time and again for Man City. Man United, they went and bought players, maybe they overpaid, but they did the job. They made their squads amazing. Barcola is the kind of player that will come in and make Liverpool's squad instantly 10 times better in the forward areas. I think Munoz for Liverpool will still be a good signing, but the reality is Liverpool do need bodies for the Champions League for Iraola's system. Araujo, a great signing in the centre-back area. They've got the cover now in that area, but the winger area is clearly the place that Liverpool are being linked with multiple players. We've seen it in buy in recent days as well. Liverpool could sell Gakpo for 70 million to Tottenham and then buy Barcola and in buy for around 150 million for both. Sell Gakpo for 70, and you've got two new very good wingers for 80 million, 40 million each, which is very, very good business. That's the kind of thing that Liverpool could do. As it stands, they've got the centre-back they needed, and it looks like it's going to be all eyes on Barcola because it looks like the money is going to be spent there. As always, get your comments in down below, like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.